All right, here we are. Here we go. Here we go. What is going on, everybody? Make sure we got everything set. Everything is looking good. There it is. What is going on, everybody? This is your boy, the Underground King, the host of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. This is host Serg Vicente, man, the Underground King, and we have an incredible show for you guys today. Look, man, I hope you're having a good day. I know for me personally, I've been waking up a little lighter. Have been waking up not as stressed, man. I just have this, and we'll talk about why I'm not as stressed, man. But it's a chilly day here in LA, and let's go ahead and talk about what we have on this amazing show. So on today's menu, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Glover Teixeira, man. Glover Teixeira, does he deserve a title shot? This dude has been running through everybody at 205. He's at a 5-fight winning streak, man. Does he deserve a title shot, or should that go to Israel Adesanya, okay? Also, Andrei Arlovsky, he's another one, man. These 40-year-old dudes, they're not ready to give it up yet, man. Knocking people out, man, doing work. Andrei Arlovsky gets another win for him as well. His winning streak continues, so we'll talk about that and what's next for him. Devin Haney is somebody who we all know I am extremely high on here on the Fight Podcast. I think he's one of the best in the world. He performed this weekend. He dominated in his win this weekend, as I said he was going to. But did he really impress? We'll talk about that. We'll also go ahead and talk about Kayla Harrison, PFL's Kayla Harrison, the face of the PFL. She has a fight coming up. No, it is not with the PFL. We're going to talk about Canelo's free agency and so much more on episode 241 of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe. Welcome, everybody, man. I hope you guys are having an amazing Monday. Starting a little later than I would have wanted to. It's still morning somewhere, but welcome to Morning Coffee and Fight News. Like I said, man, I am your host, the Underground King, Serg Vicente. And, man, Monday morning, it has been a wild couple of days. I don't know if anybody else has felt it, but obviously we had last week was the election, and then for 3 to 5 days we had a little bit of arguments, counting, all kinds of shit was going on, and 6 a.m. LA time, so Pacific time on Saturday morning, I get a call from my mom crying on the phone. We did it, Poppy. We won. And I had to, so I jump up, I turn on CNN, and sure as shit, man, CNN calls it. Right after CNN, everybody else falls suit. The AP, Associated Press, MSNBC, regular NBC, Fox News, everybody calls it. Joe Biden is the 46th president of the United States. Look, I know a lot of people who are fans of MMA. A lot of us who are not us, because y'all ain't nothing like me if this is the case. But a lot of individuals who are fans of the sport aren't particularly pleased about that. Look, man, this past weekend, for all the negative things that I have to say about Joe Biden, I have. I mean, I am a progressive. He is the definition of a corporate Democrat, but yo, I was so fucking happy. Oh my God. Oh, yo, the level of these last 4 years, I don't know if you guys have been able to feel it, man, but I'm a little bit shorter than I used to be, in terms of, not obviously in terms of height, but in terms of my temper, my attitude. I was always stressed out, man. I'm an avid watcher and reader of the news, so I'm always paying attention to what's going on, which might be part of the problem, but also is part of the solution, as we've seen, man. But it's been, like I said, it's been a rough few years, not just for our country, but for the world. And we were going down a real scary path, man. We were going down a path of, let's just shit, call a spade a spade. We're going down a path of fascism, and to see us get a victory, no, it wasn't as big as we would have wanted it to be. one of the things is, I mean, the fact that this election was as close as it is, for everybody, for the 70 million individuals that voted for Donald Trump, man, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. It really, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a joke. And now you got, Agent Orange going out there and like acting as if the win was not legitimate. So now, obviously, this is the fight. This is the fight podcast. We can talk about fights, and let's be honest, this is still a legitimate fight. And we have now, you got Donald Trump who's sitting out there essentially saying that, look, man, this shit ain't real. He's taking it to the courts, but for everybody who has a sense of a little bit of common sense, they understand that the wins are too far. Even if with any of these court cases, anything did get overturned, it would only be overturned in terms of up to 100, 500 votes max. And all these places we're talking about, Georgia. First and foremost, let's salute to Stacey Abrams in Georgia and Mayor Keisha Bottoms over there, man. We have to salute them, man. Your vote legitimately matters, okay? Your vote legit matters, man. And one of the things that I noticed we could say that your vote legitimately matters is, look what happened. Stacey Abrams, she single-handedly signed up 800,000 individuals. And obviously the majority of those who she signed up ended up voting for Joe Biden. One individual did that type of work. Look at how close the margins were. It was less than 5,000 votes in Georgia that Joe Biden ended up winning by. So everybody who's like, oh, I don't care, I live in this state, my vote doesn't matter. Your vote legitimately matters, okay? It legitimately matters, and this is how, judges, look at not just the president, that's one thing. Let's look at everything else, man, and we got to get these individuals out. So obviously, a lot is still going on with there, and I won't belabor this anymore. Obviously, we have some more pressing issues in terms of the fight world to talk about. But I wanted to talk about this, take a couple moments out, man, and just say I'm so happy. Yes, I was one of those people, and I wasn't dancing in the streets because Corona. Like, nigga, the virus is still out there. Like, I'm not gonna be out there also like partying in the streets and whatnot. But my lady and I had a great time. It did feel like a holiday weekend. It was great. I haven't felt this happy, and I can't tell you how long, man. And then on top of it, there were fights. So let's go ahead and jump into it, man. There were some solid performances, man. There were some questionable performances. So let's go ahead and jump into the action. We had to talk. I had to put that up there. Biden wins 2020 election. I already talked about that good stuff, but we'll talk about that later, man. But let's move into it. Glover Teixeira, man, the veteran, the savvy vet, man, top 5 guy in the UFC's 205-pound division. 41 years old, goes out there and does what he has been doing forever. He goes out there and beats another top quality guy. He ends up getting the 3rd round rear naked choke finished against Thiago Santos. And again, all of us who do not remember, Thiago Santos had a title fight with John Jones. That was his last fight. He ended up tearing both of his ACLs. He teared both of his MCLs. In fact, he tore his all CLs. Everything he ripped up, okay? And after, less than a year, he's back, and he's performing against one of the best guys in the world. This was a very, very entertaining fight. Both men had their moments, and yes, Glover Teixeira did win, but he had to go through the fire. Just a complete fire to make that happen, okay? The first round, the fight kicks off, and there is this feeling out process that happens, but that shit lasted like 15 seconds. Thiago Santos goes and does what he does best, opens up and has a 5-punch combo, knocks Glover Teixeira down, and this is, honestly, with me, look, and I'm going to say this, I have discounted Glover Teixeira for the longest. Glover Teixeira is one of those guys that I have not giving the props that he deserves for the longest, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But he goes out there, he's dropped, and I was like, this is exactly what I thought. We called it last week on the Fight Podcast. I pretty much went out there and said, okay, this is it. This is it. Thiago Santos was going to finish him and prove, and this is why he deserves the title shot at 205. This is where Thiago Santos comes back, storybook, kind of thing. He's back at it after the bad knee injuries. But that didn't come to fruition, man. He ended up getting pretty much reversed, controlled, and just dominated on the ground, man. Ugh. Glover Teixeira has done something that a lot of people haven't been able to do the older they get. A lot of times the older these athletes get, what they do is that they don't evolve. And they say the same. They try to continue doing what got them to the dance. And once we see them start taking these L's, it's because of the same things. They didn't evolve, so they're just starting to lose, right? Now, for Glover Teixeira, he did the opposite. He had a title shot 6.5 years ago against John Jones. This is when he was on a 20-fight winning streak. This is when he was just dusting everybody. And this is when he was knocking people out completely. He fell in love with his power. He fell in love with his hands, which he has extremely good boxing, which he does. I'm not discounting that one bit. But he goes out there and gets just bullied by John Jones. And then the scariest dude I've ever seen in MMA, Rumble Johnson, comes out there and literally, I'm not making this shit up, knocks his teeth out with an uppercut. All right? He gets knocked out. And then Alexander Gustafsson also knocked him out, just completely destroyed him on the feet. A lot of fighters, that would have been the end of their story. That would have been, he was on the back end anyways, took him forever to get to the UFC. He's training by himself in Connecticut somewhere. Something happens. He gets some younger guys in his camp. And he starts developing, which he already had an incredible wrestling game, and he's a legit black belt. And here's the thing. We have a lot of guys that are great grapplers and great jiu-jitsu practitioners, but he is a legitimate black belt, and he has above average wrestling. So you take his high IQ boxing, which, yes, he slowed down some, but he doesn't even entertain it to the same extent now. He uses his wrestling now more than ever before, and he has a crushing top game. Look, Thiago Santos is not a slouch on the ground. Every time he was taken down by Glover Teixeira cut through his guard like a hot knife through butter. He was immediately in his mount. He was immediately on his back. It was just one of the cleanest transitions that you will ever see. He went out there and was just, I'm talking about smooth as butter. He went out there, really did his thing. First round, second round, a little bit more of the same. But at the end but in the third round, Thiago Santos has his moment. Catches him again. That dude only needs one shot, man. Gets knocked down, Glover does. Reverses the position, and then proceeds to finish him. Gets the rear naked choke, wins the fight. 3 minutes into the third round, man. Incredible performance, man. And this brings, a lot of people are talking about it. Even Dana White said it afterwards. At the end of the day, what do we do with this dude? And he has earned, and I'm going to say this again, he is on a 5-fight win streak. A 5-fight win streak, right? He has earned it, clearly the number one contender in that weight class. And like I said, amazing passing, amazing control, didn't engage in unnecessary striking, which is something that he used to do, okay? This is the problem. Dana White has already gone out and said at the end of the day, what he wants to do is he wants to give that title shot to Israel, the last Adesanya. And the only thing that we're waiting for at this present moment in time is just schedules and things like that. It should happen Q1 of 2021. All right. Who should get the title shot? Should it be Adesanya or give it to Glover? I'm going to be honest with you. Glover should get the title shot. I know. I'm the guy, probably wouldn't expect to say that. Glover should get the title shot. Now, Adesanya, business-wise, deserves and should have that title shot. It's not even close. Come on. We already know what it is. You give him the title shot. Hopefully he goes ahead and beats Jan Blachowicz. And then summertime, you end up getting John Jones, Adesanya, biggest fight in UFC history, right? Ideally, that is what you'd want. Ideally, that's what you want. And that's honestly what I believe is going to happen. Probably the best thing to happen in terms of the sport. Sucks for Glove Teixeira, but hey, it is what it is, man. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Not on this episode, but in the future, man. We're going to have some fight roundtables, and that fight itself is something that we're going to go ahead and talk about, man. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. All right. Take a little sip. It is morning coffee and fight news. So let me take a little sip of this coffee. I was at Trader Joe's, and I have this it's maple coffee. Can't stand. It's pretty fire. All right, Glove Cherry already had Andrei Arlovsky. Moving on to the next one was a co-main event. And by the way, this is the first time in UFC history that two men in the main event and co-main event over 40 years old both got a victory. Andrei Arlovsky. Look, I said that Glover Teixeira is a guy that I've really discounted in his career, and I've kind of written off. Look, I wrote off Andrei Arlovsky like a decade ago. I wrote off Andrei Arlovsky when he was fighting for the WSOF. And he got another dude. Two guys, both get victories. Both of them got their teeth knocked out in a fight against Anthony Rumble Johnson. When that fight happened, and that was way back when, I'm telling you, that has to be 6-7 years ago at this point in time, I thought Arlovsky was done. And not only that, I mean, I think about the Strikeforce days. Here's the thing. Let's talk about this one. He goes out here and ends up fighting. What's it called? Cory, Connor Bozer, up and coming dude, man, super dope. He's on a win streak of his own. Andrei Arlovsky, 4-5. He's on a win streak. He's won 3 out of his last 4 fights, and he goes out here and you know what, man, puts on a veteran performance, gets a good W, man, and wins. Now, did this win blow my hair back? Absolutely not at all. Is it a good win? Absolutely. It's a solid win. What does this win show? What does this win prove? This win shows and proves to me that he is still a upper echelon heavyweight. He is still somebody that if you were a prospect and you're not on your shit, he's going to beat you. That it is what it is. He's another one of those guys. I call this Derek Brunson at 185. He's that litmus test. If you can get past Andrei Arlovsky at heavyweight, you know what? You might be one of the elite guys, okay? So when we look at that, Bozer, as good as he is, he got to go back to the drawing board. He's not that guy. Is Andrei Arlovsky somebody who belongs in title contention? I'm going to say no. I think what he's doing is awesome. I think him being in his 40s, one of the first UFC heavyweight champions, coming back doing his thing, I think is incredible. The reason I don't think he wins is because I look at this, and here's a couple big factors, right? I have this written down. This dude's literally going to have, he has 30 wins in his career, but he also has close to 20 losses in his career. When he's all said and done, he's going to have over 20 losses. He lost to Strikeforce back in the day. In a row, he took L's to Fedor Emelianenko, Brett Rogers, Sergey Kharitonov. In the UFC, he turns around 4 in a row. Stipe Miocic, Josh Barnett, Francis Ngannou, Tybura. And then he got KO'd in the first minute of the fight by Yardino Rosenstruck. What does that say to you? What that tells to me is that every time he's in there with one of the upper echelon guys, he not only does he lose, he gets knocked out pretty easily. So what that says is this. If you can get past Arlovsky and you can knock him out, you might be somebody. If not, he might just be another guy. All right. Good stuff to him, though, man. Congrats to him. He's always going to be there for fun fights, which I love. All right. This next topic I want to talk about, and I'm excited to talk about today, because here's the thing. I've been big on this kid. And what I'm going to tell you guys right now, you might be a bit surprised. So let's jump into it. Devin Haney. I'm a huge fan of Devin Haney, as you guys know. He is, I don't want to say a Floyd Mayweather protege, but he is somebody who has been brought up by Floyd. He is one of the most skilled young boxers in the game today. He is the current WBC lightweight world champion. Yes, I said Devin Haney is not Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez is not the champion for the WBC. He has a fake title. So the one who actually has the legitimate claim to that title is Devin Haney. And Devin Haney this weekend reclaimed his belt, retained his belt by ended up beating the former champion at 126, Urios Gamboa. Gamboa, a lot of us may remember him for, honestly, he was a guy who was a top 10 pound for pound guy at one point in time in his career. But over the last 5 years, he hasn't been that guy. He's aged. He ended up getting knocked out pretty bad by Terrence Crawford. At 140. He ended up getting knocked out at 135 at lightweight by Tank Davis. He ended up taking an L to Tank Davis and getting a KO there. And also, and this is one of the things that I want to bring up because I could not believe this stat when I saw it. Gamboa has been knocked down 14 times in his career, 11 times in his last 4 fights. Like, that's nuts. And he's been super chinny. So with all those stats, I thoroughly anticipated that Devin Haney was going to go out here and completely destroy him and end up getting a finish. Well, look, one of those things did happen. He destroyed Gamboa. It wasn't even close. I had Devin Haney winning every single round. I didn't even think anything is debatable. It was unanimous decision victory. It was easy. It was workmanlike. It really was a professional win. Tough dude, workmanlike, did his thing, gets a tough. It reminds you of Mayweather in the pay-per-view era Mayweather. He goes out there, takes care of business. It is what it is. You love it. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to see out of your champions. But, and I'm going to tell you guys this, Devin Haney missed an opportunity. And I'm going to say he missed an opportunity because of this. You would think that he's one of those guys that, especially because Teofimo Lopez just got the win against Lomachenko. Tank Davis just got the knockout of the year against Leo Santa Cruz. These are all the guys, 3 of the top 5, 3 of the 4. We always call it the 4 horsemen. We talk Teofimo, Devin Haney, Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia. Those are the 4 that we discuss. Shakur Stevenson's the 5th. They all say they're going to fight each other. They're all roughly the same weight class. This was an opportunity for him to stake his claim to be like, I'm just as badass as you guys. They both had star-making performances. This was not a star-making performance. Devin Haney had a job to do. He didn't do it. He won, but he did not make a performance that matters. He didn't make a performance that anybody's going to be talking about the next day. Yes, he had Jay-Z calling him after that when that was pretty fucking cool. But at the end of the day, what did he do? He went out there and, now granted, Gamboa was attempting not to get finished. He took some big shots, but he's usually somebody who's a lot more active. He's usually somebody who's coming in and explosive. And his explosion allows him to end up getting hurt, especially in the latter stages of his career. He wasn't doing that because obviously he tore his Achilles against Tank Davis. So he was he was slower, much slower, much more belabored to the point. And he was just holding on. Even got a point taken away in the 10th round because of it. So it was difficult, but I'm going to say this about Devin Haney and I'm going to move on. In terms of, did he impress? He looked incredible. It's Devin Haney. He's extremely skillful. Did he blow your hair back, knock your socks off, make you want to watch him again? No, especially when what happened with the other guys. That's what I'm going to say. And think about it. We have Ryan Garcia coming up. So if he goes out there and has a really impressive performance, I mean, it's not going to look good on Devin Haney. Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez had it right. He says, everybody wants to be Money Mayweather, but you got to be pretty boy first. It was a great quote by Teofimo. And he's telling the truth. It's real. It's super real. He's not doing his job. You got to go out there and be pretty boy. Pretty boy used to knock everybody's face off. Once he got to a weight class where he was the guy who was not the biggest guy, that's when he started outpointing you and not taking damage and doing all the other stuff. Devin Haney needs to stop trying to fight like a polished Money Mayweather, which isn't a bad thing. And he needs to fight more like Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford has the skills. And same thing. Devin Haney, out of all those young guys, arguably has the best skills. Him and Shakur Stevenson. But he's not risking like the other guys do. The other guys are risking themselves. The other guys are going out there and throwing bombs, throwing combinations, and they're putting themselves at risk, which allows them to get these finishes that are allowing them to get the acclaim that they need. Devin Haney's not doing that. And until he learns to do that, he's going to be the one that people want to see the least. So, which brings me to my next question. Out of all the five, Teofimo, Tank, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson, how would I rank them personally? I'm going to say this. Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. That is how I currently have it, but it can change at any point in time. I'm giving Devin Haney over Ryan Garcia because he's beaten Ryan Garcia twice in the amateurs. Yes, it's different now, but skill-wise, I still think that Devin Haney has more skills. Tank Davis right now, because of his win against Leo Santa Cruz, has beat a higher level competition. He's beat he's beat Gamboa, which Buddy also beat, and him. So, not saying that Devin isn't beating good guys. In fact, his combined record of his opponents is something like 105-6 or something crazy. So he's fighting good guys, but they don't have the name recognition that are going to actually get him up there. And then obviously I got to have, Shakur Stevenson, who I think is one of the most skilled fighters I've ever seen. And then we have to have Teofimo Lopez because of the biggest win that he has there. That's how I have him ranked. Yes, that's liable to change, but that's what I think. All right, we'll see what it is. All right. Let's move. Keep it with boxing, but let's move right along. I'll talk about this topic a little bit more in the future when we have our guru B Cam on the show. But Canelo's a free agent, guys. He is no longer. He won his litigation. He's no longer with DAZN or Golden Boy. And it again, this is big for boxing. This is big for fighters. So what this opens up is this. This opens up an opportunity for Canelo to make some of these big fights that he wasn't able to make. DAZN was trying to have him fight celebrity fights. They wanted him to fight Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov and shit like that. And he wants to fight actual champions and boxers. So that's what he's going to do. And from what all sounds like, all signs are pointing that he will be fighting in December against Caleb Plant. Sweet Hands himself. I love that matchup, and I hope that it does happen. But for DAZN, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I look at this, and I just honestly don't believe that this is great for DAZN. You look at this, and this to me tells me that this DAZN is going to be over in the U.S. This is my hot take for the day. DAZN is 6 months, tops. They'll be gone. They don't have anybody that we care about. They don't have fights often enough, and they charge you $25 a month. Like, I'll be very honest with you guys. I am 2 seconds from canceling my subscription. It makes no sense. It makes no sense for me to have it at this point in time. Because at the end of the day, we're not getting any big fights. We're not getting any of the big names. I haven't seen Canelo this year. I haven't seen, what's it called? I haven't seen Boo Boo Andrei. I'm not seeing any of the top guys. I haven't seen Jacobs. I haven't seen Triple G. I haven't seen Anthony Joshua. So if I haven't seen any of your top guys, why are we paying $20 a month to watch these fights? It doesn't make any sense. So I don't see the zone being here much longer, man. I think it's done. I think it's a wrap for them. And in terms of Golden Boy, look, man, Golden Boy still has Ryan Garcia, but remember this, Ryan Garcia is managed, okay? Ryan Garcia is managed by Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso is the same manager that is with Canelo Alvarez. They're with the same management team. Do you think that he's going to stay with his manager taking somebody somewhere else? I don't see it happening. It is what it is. Ryan Garcia is gone. Not only that, man, I mean, they still have fighters on their stable. They have, Chris Millie on their stable. That's Golden Boy, Chicago's very own friend of the show. He's been, he's somebody they still have. They still have Oscar Valdez out there. So they have guys in terms of Golden Boy. But DAZN, I think we can cancel Christmas. All right. Last but certainly not least on today's episode. And as you guys know, man, morning coffee and fight news. This is our show, man. I give you guys the news. We drink some coffee. This is for your Tuesday morning, your Monday drive, man. Something we keep you guys going, man. So I'm not going to belabor the point too much. We're going to keep it moving. Finish up with this. The PFL's face of the PFL, Kayla Harrison, is going to fight November 20th for Invicta FC at a new weight class at 145. So listen to this. The former Olympic gold medalist, she is going to go out there and fight Courtney King. Courtney King's no slouch, man. She went out there and beat Colby Northcutt. Colby Northcutt is the sister of Northcutt who got his face knocked off. We know who he is. Former UFC, the face guy over there. But Harrison, man, look, she's 30 years old. She's 7-0, 5 finishes. She is a judo gold medalist. This fight is going to be on Invicta, or for Invicta. I think this is a big opportunity for her. I think for Kayla Harrington, this is an opportunity for her to get some face time. Invicta, this is going to be on UFC Fight Pass. So I think this may be a first step in getting her into one of the bigger organizations. I love this fight. I am happy that she's fighting against somebody, and I'm also happy I see her at 145. There are no women fighting at 155. It made no sense. Even though she's the champion at 155, the weight class, there just isn't enough people there. 145, she'll be able to go ahead and actually fight some people. So we'll end up seeing what happens. But I'm happy about this, man. This happens November 20th. It is going to go ahead and be on UFC Fight Pass. It is going to be for the Invicta 145-pound title. I can't wait, man. That is going to go ahead and be great. And dude, what a wonderful day, man. Today is a good day. Today is a legitimately good day. That's about all the time we have for today. Check it out. I will be back. We'll be back soon. We have a fight roundtable later on today. So if you guys are go ahead and listening now, obviously you'll see it on social media and everything. But we'll be back for episode 242 of the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. And we'll be talking a little bit more in depth on what's going on with boxing. We'll be talking a little bit more in depth about the MMA's GOAT. John Jones has been losing his mind. We're going to be talking about that. Deontay Wilder is still losing his mind. His coach, Mark Breland, has spoken. We'll be discussing that and so much more, man. To everybody else, man, thank you guys as always for listening to the greatest combat sports and culture show in the entire universe, the Fight Podcast. Listen everywhere podcasting is available. Apple, Google Play, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher. Check out the website, thefightpodcast.com. Check out our YouTube page. Make sure you listen, like, subscribe, and share, man. Give us a like on the video. I appreciate you guys. Check us out on all social media platforms at The Fight Podcast, all right? All right. Without further ado, this has been your boy, the host of The Fight Podcast, the Underground King, Serg Vicente, and I will see you guys next time right here on The Fight Podcast. Joe Biden won. We're rid of Trump. There we go. I'll see you guys next time, man. Peace out.